Hey, what's up everyone? GameDad here, and we are back with a short collection series, this time taking a look at everything that I currently have in my Sega Master System collection. Now, for any Sega fans that are out there, it is arguably one of the coolest systems that Sega ever came out with. The audio was amazing, the colors were awesome, the gameplay was great, and the Master System was just an all-around good system. So, let's take a look at all the different games I have. Action Fighter was released by Sega in 1986, and in this game, you are riding your motorcycle, going on missions, taking out the baddies, shooting stuff, and it gives me a lot of Spy Hunter vibes mixed with like maybe Outrun or something like that. And it's pretty fun. I mean, it's very colorful. The gameplay is very simplistic, but it is still a really fun game. Up next, we have Afterburner, released by Sega in 1988. And although I have heard good things about this game, and it looks fantastic for this era, I don't really understand really what the point of it is. I mean, I could pretty much just stay in one spot and nothing would hit me. Yeah, I could shoot stuff, but that was pretty much it. They always came in at the same pattern. There was no real variation. There was no goal in sight. I didn't get what the point of the game was. Next up, we have Alex Kidd High Tech World, released by Sega in 1989. And this game, they made a couple of different Alex Kidd games, and they're okay. This one, I didn't really care for too much. There was just a lot of dialogue that you had to muck through, and the overall gameplay was pretty generic. It felt like a point-and-click adventure without a mouse, if that makes sense. I don't know. I didn't find this one to be that fun. Now, here we have Alex Kidd in Miracle World, released by Sega in 1986, and this game to me was a lot more fun. It definitely had like a 80s TV show vibe whenever you would turn it on with all those images coming in, but overall it was just a really fun platformer, and I just had a blast playing this one. I only meant to get just a little bit of footage for recording, but ended up playing this game for quite a long time because it was pretty addicting going through and taking out all the baddies. Up next is Black Belt, released by Sega in 1986, and the gameplay is interesting. It feels like a poor man's beat 'em up. You go through and you either punch or kick someone, and then you turn around and you punch or kick that person, and then you might get someone with a big axe that they're throwing at you, and then you have to dodge and then punch and kick them. And that's pretty much it. I didn't really get much out of this. Up next, we have Choplifter, released by Sega in 1986, and all the Choplifter games, I love all of them. They're just fantastic. And in this game, it's the same thing. I mean, the graphics are excellent for this era, and the gameplay, it's solid, it's super fun, and I just have a blast every time I play one of these games. This one was honestly a lot more colorful than some of the newer console generations that came out that were still in, you know, this pixel kind of phase. Up next, we have Enduro Racer, released by Sega in 1987, and although this game is fun, it is not that challenging, and it just feels like an Excite Bike ripoff. I mean, it's just in an isometric view instead of a side-scrolling view. You got your jumps. I didn't really notice if there was a way to do a turbo or not, and you are trying to navigate around like some of these carts and stuff like that, but overall, I mean, that's really all it is. It's the same kind of repetitive track over and over again. And yeah, up next is Ghostbusters, released by Sega in 1987. And while I like this one better than the NES version, I will say I still don't care for it all that much. It added new elements to it, which is cool. And like as you can see, you have this kind of not racing, but driving section that you can do to get to the ghosts, and it has elements of buying more items and diversifying, but that's about it. Up next, we have Great Basketball, released by Sega in 1987, and much like pretty much any sports game I've ever played as a video game, I didn't really care for it all that much. I mean, it was okay, but it's just a basketball game, and with this whole great series of games, the more you get on the screen, the more things start to glitch out. As you can see, like characters start fading like in and out and flashing, but overall, I mean, it was okay. And here we have Great Football, released by Sega in 1987. Same kind of thing as the basketball one, except it's football. Very simplistic menus, very simplistic like team selections, things like that. As you can see, they didn't have any licensing of any kind, so it was all generic. And overall, I mean, it was just a really basic game. Up next, we have Great Volleyball, released by Sega in 1987. And although this was from the same kind of series, I think the graphics were way better in this game. It feels like they took a lot more care in this one than they did the other couple that you saw in this video.
But overall, I mean, the gameplay was a little weird. It was kind of hard to get that depth of field going whenever you would have to hit the ball. But I mean, I like this one the best out of those three. Here we have Hangon and Safari Hunt, released by Sega in 1986, and these go with the Sega light gun. You can either use a controller to play Hang-On, or you can use a light gun to do Safari Hunt, or its light phaser gun. You know, they had to have a different name for it. But overall, I mean, it's a pretty simplistic game cart, as evident by the fact that they fit 2 games onto one cart. Up next, we have Confessin, not sure how to pronounce that one, released by Sega in 1988. And this one is kind of like a Ninja Gaiden kind of game. So you're just going through, you're taking out the baddies. But I did get instant, like, Ghouls and Ghost vibes from it, but with a samurai. So, I mean, it was okay. The enemies were super fast, but the main character was actually really slow. So that was kind of annoying to have everything moving way faster than me on the screen. Last up for this video, we have Maze Hunter 3D, released by Sega in 1988. And this game was actually pretty fun. I didn't really mess with the 3D aspect of it that much, but it's pretty cool to see things kind of jump out at you, and the overall gameplay is pretty neat. It is definitely unforgiving. You get hit once and you die, but it is still a pretty fun game, and I really enjoyed it, actually.
So there you have it, everyone. That is everything that is in part 1 of my Sega Master System collection. Now, have you noticed any games so far that I should add to the collection? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, please be sure to also hit those like and subscribe buttons, as well as that little notification bell so you get an alert every time I got a new video coming out. Now, as always, I'm GameDad. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later.